This is Sam filling the gap for Pappy. Let's fill in some information about President Ford. When Gerald Rudolph Ford took the oath of office in August 1974, there were no bans, no ballots, and no celebration. He became president not through an election, but through exhaustion. Aren't you? The nation worn down by war, protest, and scandal. Standing before Congress, Ford spoke the words Americans long to hear. Our long national nightmare is over. Ford was an unlikely president. Born Leslie Lynch King Jr. in 1913 and raised in Grand Rapids, Michigan, he grew up in a stable, middle class home after his mother remarried. He was steady rather than brilliant, respected rather than admired. A standout athlete at the University of Michigan and a Navy officer during World War II, Ford carried into politics a deep belief in teamwork, fairness, and the rule of law. For more than 25 years, Ford served in the House of Representatives, eventually becoming House Minority Leader. He was known as honest, dependable, and decent, the kind of man colleagues trusted even when they disagreed with him. That reputation made him an ideal choice in 1973 when Spiro Agnew, Richard Nixon's vice president, resigned in disgrace. Nixon nominated Ford to restore confidence. Within a year, Nixon himself would resign. Ford assumed the presidency amid the wreckage of Watergate. Public trust in government was shattered. Cynicism reigned. Like Ford's most most significant challenge was not policy but legitimacy. How to lead a nation that no longer believed in its leaders. 1 month into his term, Ford made the most controversial decision of his presidency. He granted a full pardon to Richard Nixon. Ford argued that prolonged legal proceedings would tear the country apart and prevent healing. Many Americans saw it as a betrayal, a secret deal, an escape from justice. His approval ratings collapsed overnight. Yet Ford never wavered. I know it in my bones, he said later, that this was the right decision. History remains divided, but time has softened the outrage. What seemed unforgivable in the moment now appears to many a act of costly conscience. Ford governed during difficult times. The economy struggled with inflation, unemployment, and an energy crisis. He urged restraint, even launching a campaign called Whip Inflation Now, when earnest, well-meaning, and widely mocked. Congress, dominated by Democrats, frequently overrode his vetoes, testing his authority. In foreign affairs, Ford sought continuity. He worked closely with Henry Kissinger, navigating the final stages of the Vietnam War and overseeing the painful evacuation of Saigon in 1975. He supported détente with the Soviet Union and signed the Helsinki Accords, affirming human rights principles that would later undermine communist regimes in Eastern Europe. Despite setbacks, Ford remained personally popular. Americans trusted him even when they disagreed with him. He was seen as human, famously prone to stumbles and gaffes, but sincere, unpretentious, and transparent. In 1976, Ford ran for a full term and narrowly lost to Jimmy Carter, a fellow outsider promising moral renewal. Ford left office with his dignity intact, having steadied a nation that might otherwise have spun further into bitterness. Gerald Ford was never meant to be a transformative president. He was intended to be a transitional figure, a bridge between collapse and renewal. He governed without flair, without guile, and without bitterness. In a time when trust was scarce, Ford offered something rare, decency, and sometimes that is enough.